I'm starting out with 2 pieces of round, dead soft 20 gauge copper wire, about 7 inches, and I'm eyeballing where my ring band is going to be, kind of right here in the middle, and so that is where I'm starting to weave. I'm using 26 gauge wire, round, dead soft. You can use 28 as well. Putting it through the middle. You can do any weave that you would like, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up, over, through the middle again to the back. Then I'm going to go over both wires. Let me do this. I'm going to go over both wires twice. 1, 2. Then I'm going to go over that bottom wire again, making just one little loop over just the bottom, bringing it back up, making one little loop over just the top. And then I'm going to do that again. 1, 2. So that's going to be my pattern. And I'm going to do that for nearly as long as I want my ring band to be. If you want to take your ring mandrel and start measuring this against the ring mandrel for your size, once it starts getting close and you just have like this teeny little gap, that's when you want to stop. Alright, so I'm about at that point. You want part of the band to be on top and part on the bottom, just like this. So don't like cross these wires. And here's my little gap. If I'm here on size 7, here's my little gap. So at this point I cut my weaving wire. I left myself just like a nice long tail here, just kind of eyeball. Nice long tail for yourself. And you want to weave around all 4 of these wires to connect it. Now you can try to get in between them and do some kind of actual weave, or you could just do what I'm doing, which is just wrapping my weaving wire around all 4 at the same time, like that. So you have to do this until the gap is closed up all the way, and make sure that your wires stay nice and flat, especially if you're wrapping the way that I'm wrapping. You can easily just, pull too tight and have these wires just kind of cross over, so you don't want to do that. You can use your pliers too to just like push this flat if you feel like it's getting to be not so flat. And once you filled out that gap, before cutting this wire, just wrap it a few times around just one single wire. This way it doesn't unravel. Just like this. And now you can cut it. Alright, now I'm going to start a new weaving wire. This is just, it's on the spool, so I can use as much as I need. And, I mean, theoretically, you could have cut yourself a super long piece. This way you wouldn't have to start a new wire, but I just like to keep mine on the spool. It's easier for me to just start a new one. So we're gonna have to do this on both of these sides, so just pick whichever one you want to start with, and you are going to weave the following pattern. I'm putting my wire in between, and I'm doing 2 loops around the bottom wire, so 1, 2, and then that third time that you're going to go down, you're going to come up and wrap around the top wire. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go down and wrap around the bottom wire. 1, 2, 3. And that is all that you're going to do. This is one that you need to push with your pliers because it gets quite separated out. And what you want to do as you do this is you want your wires to be going apart, like mine are right now. And we're going to weave until this is going to be long enough to cover my cabochon. I'm going to put my cabochon here, and then this wire I'm going to bend it around the edge. I'll show you guys around the edge of my cabochon. And so I'm going to weave for quite a while, till about here. And you do want them to not necessarily get just infinitely wide, but maybe just at some point have your wires keep the same width. So once it gets, wide like this, you can just stay this way and keep it going like that. And I mean, this can be tricky because when you're doing this, if you pull too hard, you will move these wires out of place. So you just kind of have to be gentle and careful with it. And when you're pulling, pull almost like up so that you're not pushing the wire accidentally down. And I like to just always use my fingers to shape my weaving wire around instead of pulling it into place. I think that makes it easier too to keep this separated. Alright, so here's my cabochon. Little amethyst, about 9 millimeters. And as you can see, I kind of started bending these because I was seeing if they were long enough to go around my stone. But basically, here I'll unbend one. So these are the two wires coming out, and I weaved around them. And then once it was long enough, I cut my weaving wire, pinched it down, and then I also pushed the weave down and opened this up so the weave can't slide back. And I did this on this end as well, because this is one of those weaves that will like separate and slide around. It's a little hard to keep it tight and neat. So now I'm putting in my cab. What you want to do is first bend one side around your cab, and then you have, so these are the two end wires here, the two base wires. So one of them, you want it to go underneath your ring band, and mine is actually a smidge short there, as you can see. It will theoretically be long enough to go around that ring band, but it would probably be better if it was slightly longer. Alright, so I'm just having that go around and I'm pinching it down. And now I'm taking my other side and I'm putting it around my ring. I'm putting this one through the ring band, or underneath here. And the key thing is to keep this really tight. And it's the tightness of these that's gonna hold your stone in place. So I am pulling this tight as I wrap it around my ring band here. Alright, so ideally on that other side where it wasn't quite long enough, it would be slightly longer so that you can wrap it around and then have this tiny little tail left so you can make a little loop with it, just like for decoration to finish off the little wire end. There, like that. But it's not. It's a little too short here. So let me see here. I'm just gonna do my best to wrap it around as much as I can here. Alright, so it just makes a little loop. And maybe you like this better. It's like a cleaner look. It's just like a little loop around the band. So now our stone is trapped in there. What you can do is you can kind of push this in a little bit here on the bottom. Make sure that it's smaller than the stone. And then with these two little ends, you can just kind of tuck them away somewhere. You can make a little loop, like a little decorative loop. You can put it right here on top of the stone, have a little curl here and here. Or you can put it right here, a little curl on the end there. Whatever you want to do that you feel like works for you and looks nice. I'm just going to make a little curl, and I'm going to keep it right here on the outside, just like that. And this one is a little longer, so I'm just going to trim off just a tiny bit there. And then I'm going to make the same thing, just a little curl on the outside. And just like that. So that's it. That is how you wrap a cabochon into a ring. Here's the side of mine. So one side was a little thinner, and then I decided to experiment to make the side a little wider. But it doesn't really matter as long as it's wide enough to kind of grab the edge of your cabochon. As long as you don't have like a really thick cabochon. If you have a thick one, obviously make a thicker, side there. But that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.